So we are been doing this for 25 years. One of the things we do almost on a weekly basis is we go into federal court because we have dozens, I think we have almost 100 active lawsuits right now. And we've filed probably over 500 by now in terms of the organizational life of our organization. So that means we're in court a lot. And one of the most corrupt officials at the FBI, at least in recent years, are these Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, the FBI lovers who were senior officials at the FBI who were anti-Trump activists and pro-Hillary Clinton activists. They were involved, Peter Strzok specifically was running the Clinton investigation as a senior intelligence official for the FBI, and then he was running the Russia investigation for Mueller until Mueller secretly fired him after these texts were uncovered by the IG showing these communications between Page and Strzok showing the affair and the anti-Trump bias where they talk about having an insurance policy in case Trump was elected. Just confirming the fundamental corruption of the entire targeting of President Trump. So needless to say, Judicial Watch has been asking for the text messages and all the email communications between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. And what has happened is we sued in, when did we sue? We sued last year. We asked for them in January. I think we sued in the middle of last year. And in May, the court ordered they start producing the records to us. And they've been producing them to us they've been processing the records at a rate of 500 pages a month, which is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. So that means we've only received or processed 6,000 records. 6,000 of 20,000. So there are 13,000 more pages of records that have to be processed, which means the government, the corrupted FBI that is slow walking this information, wants up to 26 months to turn them all over to us. Well into the next term of the next president, whoever that person may be. Whether Trump was reelected or not, I don't know. And the judge in this case kind of saw a report about this in one of the briefings that we gave to the judge earlier this month, and he ordered a quick hearing this week, and my colleagues and I went over, and this is what happens. I go over there, and I'm the client. I'm president of Judicial Watch. I'm a corporate officer, so I show up representing Judicial Watch as the client. We have a Judicial Watch attorney who is arguing on our behalf in court. In this case, it was Michael Bekesha. And so I just sit there and try not to cause problems. But as you might imagine, I sit there and I simmer as I see the federal government get up there and say, there's no way we can speed up this request. Judicial Watch's request was too broad. It wasn't. And if we give Judicial Watch more documents, it means someone else may not get all the documents they deserve, which is just bunk as well. The FBI has decided they will deploy not one more not one more additional resource to get these key documents out. And in my view, the court should order them, you got to get these documents out in a reasonable time frame. What does FOIA mean if it takes 3 years, 4 years to get basic information? And don't tell me you don't have the resources. The government has infinite resources. I don't mean that literally. Practically speaking, they can devote whatever is necessary to get these documents out with no impairment of the agency's functioning. But they don't want to do that. Because I tell you what, because they know these documents contain smoking gun information, because the documents they've released to us thus far show the FBI was colluding with the Clinton campaign's lawyers on Russia and the Clinton email issue. They show they had key information about the crimes Clinton committed and a listing of the chart of her crimes, and they wanted to cover that chart up. That's only one portion of the materials we've already found. And then, of course, you've got the craziness with Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, their affair, which further compromised the Clinton email and Russian investigations. Lisa Page was a senior lawyer working for Andrew McCabe as an advisor. Peter Strzok was a senior counterintelligence official. Sometimes they needed approval and collaboration to get things done. All of that was compromised because of this improper personal relationship. Lisa Page is a lawyer. I don't know if Strzok is a lawyer or not. How could she be giving advice both to her bosses and as an FBI official generally in a disinterested way related to anything related to her boyfriend? Sure enough, they're processing 500 pages a month, and we're only getting a small portion of those pages. So they process the records and hide most of them. 43% of the records, I think, either in one production or generally, are, quote, personal messages between Strzok and Page. So here we have the FBI covering up. I don't know about you. At work, do you spend half your time sending personal communications to your colleagues? I hope not. I got some of my colleagues here. I hope they're not doing that. But obviously you don't do that. And the FBI is covering all that up because we can't get it because it's personal. No, that's evidence of personal corruption, not personal stuff. So what happened at the court hearing? So I'm sitting there listening to this, and the court says, well, I don't want to get in the way of other judges. And he says, well, Judicial Watch, maybe you can figure out a way to narrow your request. It was already narrow, so I didn't say anything, but the court's going to rule the way the court does. And they said, negotiate, start talking to your, he wanted the parties to negotiate a solution to try to get the key documents we want about Russia and Clinton and other things. We want everything, obviously, so that we could get them more quickly. So we'll see what the FBI does. But if I were the president, I would see that this FBI wants to take 2 years to release only 13,000 pages of documents, and well, they won't release them all. This is just processing. I'd order them to say, I want you to release them in a month. And if Director Wray were serious about the corruption in his ranks that has destroyed the reputation of the FBI, he'd want it all out too. So a lot of people go and talk about what this corruption. Judicial Watch is actually in court fighting it and pressing the Justice Department, pressing the FBI to get this information out. And we get the information out, and it causes reactions in Congress for more information. It changes public opinion. It changes the course of history. I said it once and I'll say it again. Thank God for Judicial Watch. I don't know what the country would do without us. And I don't say that because I'm president of Judicial Watch. I say it because as an American citizen, I see the results of our extraordinary work. So I encourage you, if you're not already supporting Judicial Watch, to support our work. You can go to our website at judicialwatch.org. It's judicialwatch.org, and support our work. You can give us a donation in the least. You can learn more about what we're doing and share what's going on. Next week, we got more documents coming out. Bruce Ohr, the conflicted Justice Department official whose wife worked at Fusion GPS, and he's their liaison for the FBI and Justice Department in the Get Trump effort, conflicted up the wazoo. And there are these series of FBI interview reports, these 302s, with Bruce Ohr about his communications with the Clinton gang at Fusion GPS that have been withheld for well over a year plus. Congress has wanted them. Everyone's wanted them. Judicial Watch is getting them next week. They were supposed to come to us on Monday. They just asked for more time. So the middle of the week. So we'll see what's released. Maybe they won't give us anything. Maybe they say, here are all the documents, they're all blacked out. But I think we're going to get something substantial. So we keep on pushing along. It's a Herculean effort, I tell you that. Our lawyers are always dealing with the government, trying to extract the information that they don't want to give us. But we need to speed this along. And if Attorney General Barr is going to prosecute James Comey, then he needs to get these documents out to expose the truth about what went on. Public disclosure will help build pressure for full accountability. And it's the job of the Justice Department to ensure the law is followed. And one of the laws that need to be followed is the Freedom of Information Act. And it isn't being followed now. But you can trust Judicial Watch to keep on enforcing it as best we're able to through the courts.